What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 12 of season 1 of Kaiju number 8. That's right, is the season finale. We finally watched it a little late because of holidays, work schedule during around the holidays. Last week was busy. You guys understand, but we finally watched it, and we'll be talking full spoilers ahead. So hopefully you've watched this season, and we'll talk a real quick recap. The events were pretty simple in this episode. Basically, the director general, I forgot his name, but Kikoru's dad is still pushing Kafka to test if he's a human or a kaiju. It gets really crazy. Kafka basically loses control, but he's trying to get control back, even fighting against the thing that originally took him over in the first place. And eventually, through a huge fight where he almost kills the general, he is able to stop himself by basically attacking himself and saying that he's Hibino Kafka, not Kaiju number 8. So they have a big meeting about this. The director general brings in Mina and a bunch of his council, and they take her testimony. She basically says that he's a team-oriented member of the 3rd Division, all the things he's done, the time he basically stopped the giant bomb from going off and killing all of them. And they made it clear to her, too, before she even went with her testimony, that their decision was already final, and that what she had to say was just basically for paperwork. It wasn't really going to affect anything. But yeah, she goes through all of that stuff, and then she goes into the humanity that Kafka has, that she's known since she was a kid. She doesn't really talk about the kid part, but we get a flashback with her kind of pushing that, Kafka is a good person who cares about people and wants to do good. We get the final decision, to the dismay of the whole council, that the general has decided to use Kafka as a kaiju weapon. They accept that he is a kaiju, but they don't want to turn him into a weapon. They want to use him as a weapon, especially because the ante has been pushed up and they're getting attacked by so many different kaiju now. They need to go all out. As the general said, the precedent doesn't matter at this point, because they need what they can get. So he ends up meeting with Kafka, reveals all that information to him. Kafka, of course, is adamant that he's going to prove himself a human and a member of the team. And the general's very unreadable face just stares at him. Everybody celebrates when they find out that Kafka is coming back, basically. What's his name? Tachikawa Reno, right? His name's Reno. He is working out and trying to get stronger for when Kafka comes back, so he can be more useful in protecting him and not being protected by him. And then we get an end sequence with the weird kaiju. Was that number 9? Yeah, kaiju number 9, talking about how he's basically got humans figured out when it comes to their intelligence, and that he's basically going to try to get the kaiju power that the humans are using back. And as we've seen earlier in the show, he was bringing back dead kaiju. So
he also mentioned that he understood the base layout now too.
Yeah. So he's obviously planning some kind of assault. And then we also get a side shot of 2, it seems, of Kaiju 9. So there might either be like 2 different kaijus that exist, or maybe there's 2 parts of him. There was a scene earlier where Kafka used his body as a decoy, but his core stayed out of the way, and then
he just left his body behind and his core regenerated.
Yeah,
instead.
Regenerated the body around it, which is a pretty crazy move.
Yeah.
So if he can do that, I don't know what this guy's capable of. We end on that cliffhanger. There's more coming. Kafka stays alive, and that's the whole season. What do we think of this episode?
It was good. It was hard for me to get too into it, because it would be crazy if he didn't survive it.
Yeah, sure.
I already know there's more manga, so the result was expected. So this is more so just a stepping stone to get past the hiding he's a kaiju, so we can just go forward with just fighting stuff now.
Yeah, well, the episode serves mostly as proof that Kafka is powerful, but he's dangerous
Yeah.
to people around him. I never thought anything was going to happen to him, obviously, but it's just showing that there is an element that's a part of him that would kill people that he can't control, but he tried to control, basically, and he ended up basically beating it.
Yeah.
Then we also got an intro to some really powerful, people like the general, who he even was like destroying and stuff. So,
Yeah.
And some other characters that we don't even know. So, just kind of give us more info on that, other than like any threat to him. So,
Yeah, I mean, and the whole season obviously was, a introduction to the world, the character, and then as I kind of already said, getting past the secrecy aspect of it, so we could just
which they did quick.
have a progression of like, trying to have a solution to the kaiju at this point instead of just trying to hide and defend people at the same time. So outside of that, it was a very straightforward episode, so I don't really have a lot to add. The ending obviously is meant to be a cliffhanger, which I'm not going to stress about too much because I'll just have to wait for season 2 whenever that comes out years from now. And
it seems like seasons for animes are coming out really quick nowadays, though.
Depends on the show, but yeah,
popularity, stuff like that. Yeah, but every time we talk about a season ending and when will the next season happen, then we get like a trailer of the next season already being worked on or something. So
yeah, and obviously, like you already kind of said, it varies from show to show.
Yeah.
Like I know Fire Force season 3 got announced like yesterday, I think, and it's been like 6 years since the last season. So
yeah, I remember hearing about that a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That show. So
yeah, so stuff like that. I mean, I like ReZero is coming out, this fall, and that's been years as well. So
oh, nice.
it just depends on the show. So also depends on like the progress of the source material too. If they don't have anything to work with, they have to wait. So
yeah, it's tricky.
But yeah, as far as this goes, I'm definitely interested in a second season. Now we could just focus on, because this is definitely a battle shonen for the most part. Unless it's a seinen or whatever, maybe I got it wrong, but it's a battle show. So that's the part I'm looking forward to. And now it's out in the open. We can have these big crazy battles in participation with his squad. So that'll be fun.
With, I'm sure, episodes later where he's going to have fits of not being able to control himself, and they're going to have to question, do we have to kill him or not? But we'll get there when we get there. No spoilers, please. We have not read the manga, and we're not gonna. So
and if that sounded like I didn't enjoy myself, I did. It is definitely a season 1. So
yeah, and it's a fairly predictable arc.
Yeah.
So
and that doesn't have to not be. It just
that's one thing. At least I've been praising since episode 1 is how straightforward the show is and how much it's not wasting our time. Which I really appreciate. This episode did the same thing. We got a resolution.
Yep.
We got a setup for the next season, and we got a cliffhanger to keep us, enticed a bit. Like, oh shit, what does that mean? But yeah, I agree. The episode was good. It definitely served as like an end to this season, and I was actually surprised on how much it ended. There was a cliffhanger, but not like a huge one. Like, of course, I already knew that guy was coming back, so and I assumed he would attack the base because that's, if he keeps attacking, it's going to end up there. So, yeah, the whole fight scene I thought was done pretty well. I thought there's some crazy stuff there, like Kafka spinning the top of his body off of his legs or whatever and healing because his body can just heal so quickly.
Yeah, because fuck it.
Yeah, so kind of shows, even the general said, like, I can't think of conventional human tactics because he's able to do shit I can't just rip myself in half to attack, and then later use his body as a decoy and then regenerate a new one. So that was really interesting. Also interesting to see how powerful the general is with the Kaiju weapon. Obviously, he wasn't able to stand up fully with Kafka, but seems pretty powerful. So in part of a group setting, I think that would come in handy. So next season will be really interesting now that, as you said, you didn't say this directly, but like the cat's out of the bag, basically. Yeah. They know that he's a kaiju, so there's no mystery anymore. So they're going to be using him. The battles are going to get bigger and crazier, I assume, because now you're going to have a full team of people with a bigger threat. using crazier weapons, like that dude with the Monster Hunter weapon that's going to kill Kafka when he took himself out. I was like, who's that guy? What's that weapon like? So
Right.
we'll see more of that next season. So I'm looking forward to that. The scene with the council, I assumed it was going to happen the way it did. So
The annoying old guys.
yeah, and I never will dock anything for being able to predict things. I don't care as long as the story's good and it's entertaining. I don't care if I can predict the stuff, but
Yeah.
it was predictable. That's fine. It's the direction it should go, and it was fun to listen to them all talk about it. But we got the resolution we were looking forward. We got Mina, basically telling us, giving us one of those Tanjiro moments where people are talking about how great Tanjiro is and how pure he is. If you watch Demon Slayer, I won't say anything more about it. Same thing here. I'm just like, oh, Kafka is such a good guy. And it's like, yeah, we know. But it was a touching moment. It was good. And then, the end. He's talking with the general. That was fun a little bit. And everyone's celebrating. That's cool. Curious about the 2 Kaiju. I don't know if that's the same guy or 2 different ones.
Yeah, who knows?
We don't need a second one. So, because the first one's already annoying enough. So, and that they're going after the Kaiju weapons. Basically.
Either that or they're referring to Kafka. I was kind of confused on what you meant by that. But.
I thought that they were talking about like all the stuff that all the things that the humans have got to make weapons out of, the material. I thought he was going after that to bring back all those Kaiju.
Possibly.
And it could be Kafka too, because he's also working with them. But he wasn't there for that conversation, so he'd be basically interpreting it the exact same way as they've decided that they're going to use him as a weapon. But yeah, regardless, I mean, he's got a plan to do something, so that'll be really interesting to see. Yeah, overall, it was a good episode. It wasn't the most exciting, but it felt like a responsible end point.
Oh, definitely.
For a season that was satisfying. It wasn't like a big, huge, crazy fight cliffhanger thing, but it's like, okay, everything's it's got a bow on it. It's ready, like it's done. Season 2 can get crazy. So, yeah, it was good. Chevy, what would you grade the whole first season of Kaiju number 8?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed the whole show. It wasn't like mind blowing or anything like that, and I do think the visual effects were kind of carrying the visuals more than the animation was, which is not whatever, but it was still enjoyable. The story is like currently it's okay, so I'll probably give it a B+. I enjoy it. I would continue watching it for sure. Obviously, we didn't drop it, so
Yeah.
But I need, like, in order to go higher, right? Like, the story's got to be a little more interesting.
It's got to resonate a bit more, yeah. Something more to chew on.
But as a piece of entertainment, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. I'm going to also give it a B+. I was thinking B+ area, but I'm going to go B+ because when it's good, it's really good. The action sequences are fun. I do like the characters. I don't love them, but I like them.
Mm-hmm.
They're all likable from the first episode. So we have kind of lost a little bit of that, though, in the later episodes because it's gotten so dramatic. But in the more personal moments, I think it's more fun for the characters. But yeah, the season was well done, though. We got a good intro, good story arc, good ending. So it's a well-made season. Fight scenes are good. Imagination was really good. Every once in a while, they propose some ideas that I'm like, oh, it's kind of interesting. Like the beginning with the cleanup crew when it came to kaiju, stuff like that. A world of kaijus where people have to live around this idea.
Or even like infrastructure with like there being like lanes on the road for it and like stoplights and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that kind of stuff was fun. So even though it was earlier in the season, and then the imagination with it, I mean, it's basically Monster Hunter. They're killing kaiju and then creating weapons from them. So that's kind of interesting too. And yeah, the whole arc with Kafka basically being Superman, Batman, getting revealed, getting his mask taken off, everybody finds out. Very comic book feeling, but fun take on it. And yeah, I liked it. Good first season. I'll definitely watch season 2.
Yeah.
And if the story gets better, I could see myself raising that grade. But it's good B+. It's an entertaining show that does not feel like you're wasting your time watching it. So there wasn't an episode that was like, oh man, this is kind of shit. So yeah, appreciate that. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think about this episode. What were some of your favorite parts of it? Is there something that happened in the episode that we didn't talk about that you like to talk about? Let us know. And then what do you think about this whole season? What would you grade it or rate it? Whatever you want to do. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it somewhere in between? And are you excited for season 2? Will you be watching it? If you know anything about season 2 story-wise, please don't tell us because we want to watch that blind when it comes out. So that would be awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Kaiju number 8. And stay tuned. We will be watching the finale of Demon Slayer season 4. Right? Season 4?
3.
I think it's 4. I'm pretty sure it's 4. Stay tuned. We'll be watching the finale of that and grading the whole season as well. And we'll continue watching Sandland soon. We've already watched 4 episodes. We'll watch more and review that as well. If you guys have any suggestions on what you'd like us to watch, let us know. We're going to have an area here soon where we don't have any brand new animes that we're going to be focusing on and doing some back burner stuff. So if you have ideas, let us know. But I've been Seth, it's been Chevy, and we will talk to you guys later.